Our special guest today is Adam Hills, but otherwise known around these parts, Brie, as the Minister for Everybody. Welcome, Adam.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me. I feel like I should sound ministerial now.
Well, for the uneducated among the tennis listeners, would you like to explain what the Minister for Everybody is and does?
So I am the Tennis Australia appointed Minister for Everybody. 2 words though, everybody, to make sure that everybody has a chance to play tennis. So it's about opening tennis up to all ages, all abilities. And, you know, I'm more than happy to shout about it and let everybody know that they can play. Because I've been playing para-standing tennis, but I've been involved with, you know, covering the Paralympics and all that kind of stuff. So as someone with a prosthetic, knowing that there's a place for me in tennis makes me want to let everybody else know as well.
So tell us, you've been on site today and you've done a little bit of ministerial work. What have your first impressions been for you?
Firstly, the buzz. Like, I love that it's just open to everyone for qualifying week. And what I really love about it is, and I was talking to someone about this today, it kind of, you don't have to know tennis to be here, especially in qualifying week, because I reckon during the tournament people turn up and go, oh, I'm not really sure who all these players are.
Yeah.
And in qualifying, it's like, well, none of us are. Like, it's fine. Come in
So
at the ground
true.
level and then just appreciate the sport for the sport without everything else that goes along with it. So that buzz has been great.
Yeah.
But I've been filming a little piece here about the accessibility, and there was a really lovely moment. There was a woman in a wheelchair asking someone for assistance, and he just went, oh, just go 50 metres down there and then to your right, and then it's all accessible. And she was like, what about when I'm in the park? And he went, oh, everything in the park is accessible. Like, there is not one part of this event that you can't get to in a wheelchair. And she went, oh, too easy.
I love that.
And I was like, that is my catchphrase for the day, about how, in fact, I was just talking to Craig Tiley on camera, and I said, right, you should pitch this as an accessibility campaign.
Yeah.
How accessible is the Australian Open? Too easy.
How Aussie is that?
It's so
Yeah.
Aussie. In fact, I even joked we need to make it more difficult for people with disabilities because it's clearly too easy.
Yeah.
Put some hurdles in or something.
Well, as true as it is that tennis is the sport for everybody, the Australian Open equally is the event for everybody, as you've just demonstrated. But it's a multisensory experience, isn't it?
It is. And genuinely, like, the stuff that's happening at the Australian Open doesn't happen at any other event, like any event, regardless of sporting event anywhere else in the world. And what it does is it makes every other event lift their game. So it actually changes the world, because then you get, you know, the US Open and Wimbledon looking and going, oh, hang on, we need to up our game a little bit. I mean, I'm not sure the French care, but there's a challenge to you, French, if you're listening. But yeah, it does something like this. Doesn't just make this event accessible. It bleeds into every other event worldwide and makes them all accessible.
All right, so on that topic, with all that said, today we're going to have a chat amongst ourselves about some of the iconic sights, sounds, smells and tastes of the Australian Open now and in years gone by. Because I'm sure that your history with the event maybe dates beyond Melbourne Park.
Well, funnily enough, so I grew up in
What
Sydney.
are you implying?
He's an
For
experienced,
Melbourne Park.
experienced
I
operator.
don't think so.
I grew up in Sydney. So for me, the Australian Open was something I watched on TV. I watched the events at Kooyong. So yes, it does predate Melbourne Park. But I was never there. It was always this mystical world that I watched in another city. So, you know, the first time I got to go to Kooyong to play, I was like, oh my God, this is hallowed turf. So yeah, my experience of the US Open goes, I think we've talked about this. Johan Creek, I think, is the first person I remember winning the Australian
on
Open.
the podcast last year. Yeah.
All right, I'm repeating myself now like an old granddad.
For anyone interested in that episode, head back to I think it was the end of season 5 when we last had Adam on the
I
pod.
feel like Grandpa Simpson right now. I remember when the tournament was played in a cow field and Johan Creek won it.
It wasn't far off, let me tell you.
You just lent in, like John led you into that path though. And you just kind of walked down it with him. Yeah.
Oh, totally. I've absolutely gone there. And now I'm telling you stories I've told you before. Have I told you about the time Johan Creek won?
Happy to lead you astray for the rest of the interview as well. What's the most visually striking thing? Like, if you had to summarize the event in one snapshot to hang on the wall here in Pod Laver Arena, what would that image be for the Australian Open?
This year, having just walked around it this year, like, for me, it's the colour. It's the colours, not just the one colour, the colours. So Wimbledon, you know the colours of Wimbledon. It's kind of the green and the purple, and it feels like that's everywhere. I've not been to the French Open, but I did go to Roland Garros during the Paralympics this year, and it feels like it's the clay.
Yeah.
That's the colour. There's not one colour for the Australian Open. It's loads of colours. It's the grass of the kind of park area. It's what I love this year is the amount of Indigenous design that's just woven in.
Yeah.
That feels like it's all, someone used the word, it's part of the fabric. And it's everywhere you look, whether it's on your lanyards or on some of the clothing or on the steps. And that's just so vibrant. So I think that for me reflects how people enjoy the Australian Open. It's a party. And like I've tried to explain that to people around the world. Wimbledon's
really
not a party.
It's a tea party.
Wimbledon's a tea party, but there's no partying involved.
Yeah.
It's you eat your strawberries and your cream
it's
and
definitely a party.
just obey all the rules. And I mean, I'm not sure what you'd call the US Open. I'd say like a street fight.
It's circus-like sometimes. Concrete circus.
Yeah, but this is a party. This is like a big barbecue. So I think just the colours. All of the colours probably stand out.
Good answer. Brie, what's the iconic image for you of AO?
For me, it's definitely a sunset over Rod Laver Arena, and probably because we're in the office, so we see that. That's our angle. That's our view. And I suppose when I first went to the Australian Open, when I moved to Melbourne, it was the thing that made me kind of my jaw drop was the sunset from Rod Laver Arena.
The
I was
bright
just
fire
like,
orange.
wow, and you know how it gets really bright when it's hot here in Melbourne, and it was beautiful.
Yeah, it's probably the best scenic spot in world tennis. Like you can say all you like about the quaintness of Wimbledon, but in terms of the city backdrop, the
just
sunset
gorgeous.
coming through the city backdrop. That's,
It's just amazing. It's really special.
Yeah, you're right. You don't get that anywhere else. Like the best thing about the suburb of Wimbledon is the tennis.
Yeah.
you don't really need, like, it's all lovely.
Yeah.
But you don't have that backdrop that you have here.
No, we're very lucky.
For me, it's under lights, probably Rod Laver Arena, but also John Cain Arena, seeing an Aussie playing at night. And the fans are up and about, and they're here for it. Whether it's Alex de Minaur, whether it's Nick Kyrgios, whether it's Olivia Gadecki this year leading the Aussie women, or Daria Saville,
the double Ks,
the double Ks. Yeah, maybe we could see that again. And Alexei Poprin is here on. I look down and I see Alexei there. He's one of the bright stars too. Any Aussie under lights with the crowd in their pocket is an awesome thing to see.
Yeah, and that's an amazing thing about the Australian crowd. It doesn't matter which Aussie it is. Like you could literally just pick a ball kid and put them on court.
They'll get behind.
Totally get behind them.
Well, the sounds of the Australian Open are equally iconic. So what sound do you think captures the energy of the event the most?
The first sound I think of is something that I just heard, and I'm really chuffed that I heard that sound. I said chuffed. How English am I?
Yeah.
Stoked. I'm stoked that I heard that sound during qualifying week. Just the roar of another court.
Oh,
yeah.
Do you know when you're just
in the background?
You're outside, you're getting lunch, or you're just wandering from one place to another, and you just hear this kind of rah, and you know something special has just happened.
Yeah.
Probably involving an Australian, but I don't know who it was. Like, it's qualifying week. I don't think there was an Aussie playing when that roar went up. I don't think. I might be wrong.
There have been a couple Aussie, at least two today.
Right.
Yeah, I think it might have been Cruz. Hewitt.
No, this is the
was
thing.
it?
Cruz's
Kim
match
Birrell.
was over.
It would have been
Maybe
Kim
it was Kim
Birrell.
Birrell. Okay.
Yeah, she's been playing. Yeah.
Right. Okay, that makes sense because it was the kind of roar that you would only associate with an Aussie battler doing well.
Yeah.
But for me, that sound. And again, I'm not sure that you get that at any other tournament because there are so many stadiums packed in little stadiums.
Yeah.
That was the one for me.
It draws the ear and it makes you want to wander inside and find out what's happening.
Yeah. You just know that someone's doing well somewhere.
Yeah.
Brie, have you got a sound?
Well, I think something's probably quite specific to Australian Open is the fact you can sometimes hear trams.
True.
Oh,
Yeah.
good
Trams
one.
and trains.
And it's something we own that I don't think you get at the other slams. Like, there is a train line, obviously, near the US Open, but they're a bit far back from it.
The buses of Wimbledon don't make too much noise.
But yeah, sometimes when you're in these Western courts, you can still hear the tram, and I quite like that in between like a serve and stuff.
And also, I would say a Melbourne tram has a sound unlike any other public transport
very
anywhere
rattly.
else. Yeah, and the ding of the bell.
The ding is iconic. They've kept that same sound for decades.
I love it.
Preserve
I
the
hope
sort
they
of-
never change it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great answer.
Thank you.
For me,
Shocked.
even in this opening week, which we're currently in as we record this episode, the various musical entertainment that's just scattered around the
True.
precinct.
Yeah.
And here where we're recording in Pod Laver Arena, we just have an acoustic act and we're getting the tunes come up. So you combine that sort of acoustic music soundtrack with the aforementioned sounds of the
Yeah.
patches of crowd and the trams.
Trams.
That to me is the sound. Every day you walk through the gates and you're getting that instantly. So they're the sounds for me.
It's a party. It's like
It is.
Oh, actually, do you know what it is? And it's hard to explain this to people from overseas. It's a barbecue. And people from overseas go, "What? You mean cooking meat?" And you go, "No, but the barbecue is so much more than that."
Yeah.
Do you know?
a mixer.
It's people inside
Yeah.
watching sport on
Yeah.
television and cheering, and then you've got music playing.
Yeah.
That's what this is. It's one massive
Bit of
barbie.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. Well, that probably segues nicely into our third category, which is smells. Iconic smells of the Australian Open. Is there one you associate maybe watching at home on the couch or here now in real life?
I'm going to say here now, there's two distinct different smells, I think. Sitting at home watching it on the couch on a hot summer's day, it was the smell of water on grass because we didn't have a backyard swimming pool. So you'd probably have the sprinkler going in the front garden.
I can relate to that.
And you'd run up and,
And it was always in the front garden, wasn't it? The sprinkler. How weird is that? We never put it in the back garden. It was always you ran through the sprinkler in the front garden.
Yeah, good point.
Why is that? Anyway.
It's a public event.
Yeah,
Invite the neighbours.
So the rest of the street can join in. Yeah, absolutely. So for me, growing up, it's the smell of like on a hot day and the water on the grass. But this particular iteration here at Melbourne Park, sunscreen.
Yeah.
It's the sunscreen, and
Which is good.
I love it. I love that you walk around and use free sunscreen. Of course, it makes perfect sense. But that smell, combined with a little bit of the mist, there are certain
from the fans.
from the fans, like the that spray mist on you
Yeah.
on a hot day. That combined with the sunscreen, that's it. That's the
Yeah.
Aussie Open for me.
Like it. Brie?
Well, I was going to go with a kind of wet grass smell because when I walk in, generally the grass is quite still wet from being ready for the day ahead at the Australian Open, and there's always that kind of cut wet grass smell. So kind of the same as Adam.
Oh, you mean the gardeners water it overnight?
Yeah, overnight. So when
Wow.
I walk into the site, it's normally, because I walk in from the front, from Grand Slam Oval, it's very grassy smelling.
Yeah, okay.
Smell of summer.
That then makes me, and I've never smelt this in my life, but it makes me feel like I have the smell of a dry Kooyong grass court,
Yeah.
which it would have been by the end of the second week
yeah.
back in the
Yeah.
day.
Dust bowl almost.
Yes,
Yeah.
I feel like I can smell it, but I never
Yeah.
did.
Yeah, but sometimes, the visual sense will give you a smell, right?
Yeah,
Remind
yeah.
you of something. For me, it's being inside the what do you call it? The walkway around the concourse inside the stadiums here.
Yeah.
We have some great food and beverage options, but the smell of chips and burgers
Yeah.
from the
Yeah, good one.
deep fryer, you just can't get away from it. And it's a great smell because not only is that tasty food, but I associate that with the excitement of the pre-match, the
Yeah.
anticipation of a great final that's about to happen or a blockbuster.
Yeah.
Hopefully tonight when I go into the charity match, I'll get to smell that for the first time this summer because I haven't been in yet.
I haven't been in yet.
No.
either.
I smelt it
Just been in
earlier
the
today.
office.
It's still there.
Yep.
Yeah,
good.
it's good.
Something to look forward to.
But it's not just here at the AO. It's not just chips and burgers anymore. We're a gourmet event.
Oh
aren't
my
we?
God, I can't even tell you how much good food there is.
Because over in social media land, you do a lot of great sponsored content with some of the
Yeah,
food
we
and
actually just had Cain from MasterChef do a piece of content talking about all the amazing food we've got this year.
Right.
So we have a lot of good stuff.
Oh my God, yeah. I was just looking at some of the stuff. Because we were filming, I needed to grab something really quick.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is all really good.
Yeah, and entrecôte.
Oh,
Yes.
Those other ones.
French
Yeah.
steak place.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Really
right. They did a
good.
sausage roll there that made me
Yeah.
happy.
Did they?
Yeah, delicious. Nothing like a classy sausage roll.
You wouldn't get that in Paris, though, would you? Sausage roll? Surely
I-
not.
Ooh.
I don't know.
No, it's not. It's not your traditional French
No, I
fare.
wouldn't have
No.
thought so. But that's we have
Different
Aussie
kind of pastry, I think.
different kind of pastry. I like the fact that we Aussiefy, international things. You know, we bring international brands, world-class chefs and
Yeah,
restaurants,
yeah.
but we put a spin on it. There's actually a chef by the name of Raphael who's doing a signature dish for Alexei Popyrin over at Top Court. So Alexei has actually
Signature
designed
dish.
this.
It's a burger.
Is it chicken sub? I
Chicken
believe.
sub, I believe. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It sounds delicious.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
What makes it stand out from other chicken subs?
Well, he chose all the ingredients.
Right.
Yeah. So
The Popyrin burger.
Man.
Popyrin chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah, now you can also see why the players love this tournament as
Yeah,
well.
no.
Yeah.
Like, it's so weird growing up in Australia, and you hear the players say, we love this tournament, we
Yeah.
love this tournament. And you go, yeah, sure, I'm sure you say that everywhere. And you kind of go to other tournaments and go, look, they're great,
Yeah.
but they're not this. This is the happy slam.
Yeah.
They genuinely love being here because they can make their own subs.
Yeah,
Indeed,
exactly.
Tsitsipas had his souvlaki.
Suva. Yeah.
Right.
Popyrin's got his Popyrin chicken sub.
Yeah.
Is there going to be more of that? If there was a stall here, if someone had like a food truck or whatever, and each dish was catered to a certain player.
Imagine that.
Yeah, Popyrin's popcorn chicken. There you
Yep.
go. You've just come
Yeah.
up with that yourself.
Yeah.
We could keep going with all of
I
these.
think we could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kyrios' Euros. Like,
That's begging. That is begging for menu item status, isn't it? Yeah, we might put that to the listeners in a future episode.
Jannik
Yeah.
Sinner's chicken dinner.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well,
Yes.
winner,
that's
winner,
good.
Jannik Sinner.
That was our social copy last year.
Was it?
Makes
Winner, sinner. Yeah.
Man, I
Chicken
just stole
dinner.
your joke.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know.
And if you forget anything, nick up to Igor's IGA on the corner. Pick up your bits.
Oh, God.
business.
Oh,
That is
no.
beautiful.
All right, before
That's
we go
beautiful.
too far
Gone too far.
down that path, finally, tastes of the AO. Food and drink play a big part in the fan experiences
Mm-hmm.
that we've just discussed. What's the most iconic taste of the Australian Open?
Well, listen, I've got it right in front of me. I don't
Oh,
know
I
that it's
see.
iconic, but for me, it's an iced coffee.
Yeah.
I love an iced coffee because,
Yeah.
especially in summer, and I think Australia does. I mean, we know Australia does coffee better than pretty much anywhere else in the
Yeah,
world.
we do.
But we are really nailing iced coffees at the moment.
Yeah.
Is there a trick to the iced coffee?
There is a trick to the iced coffee.
Tell me.
And the trick is, don't put the sugar in last because you make the coffee, you put the ice, you've got a cold drink. Sugar doesn't dissolve in a cold drink.
Ah, that's a granulated.
You've got to either put the sugar in as you make the espresso
Yeah.
and then pour it over the ice and the milk, or better yet, add sugar syrup.
Yeah.
If I ask for an iced coffee, in fact, I was in London recently and asked for an iced coffee, and the guy went, I said, "Can I get 2 sugars in it?" And he went, "Do you want the liquid?" And I went, "Yeah." And he went, "Do you want maple syrup?" And I was like, "Oh yeah." And
That's
he
the
went,
ticket.
"That's my secret. Don't tell anyone." So yeah, iced coffee
Yeah.
with maple syrup is the business.
I'm going to try that.
So I don't know if that's iconic.
Well, it is.
Do you know
for
what?
I asked you.
I'm going to say it's iconic in the way that teenagers say something that has literally just happened is iconic.
Iconic.
Now,
Yeah.
we could do
That
a whole other
works.
podcast
On things that
about.
are iconic.
I'm so sorry. If someone literally did something 2 hours ago, it can't be iconic. You need time for something to become
It
iconic.
also can't be
That's
epic.
why it's iconic.
Yeah,
'Cause
right.
It didn't need time to become iconic.
Really?
Yeah, I love that. Epic points that last for 5 shots. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to say it's iconic in that way.
Yeah.
All right, lovely. Well, we got a drink. Brie,
Okay, sorry. Okay.
What's your taste? While Adam takes a quick sip.
Taste of the AO. When I used to come here as a punter before I worked here, it was definitely Aperol Spritz. Yep. Or champagne.
Which is our Aperol is the official mixer of the
I
Australian
believe
Open.
so.
Yeah.
And then, but I think this year, the Grey Goose Lemonade, which is our new official cocktail of the Australian Open, comes in a can, recyclable. Yeah.
Pre-made. Do you know how? Do you
Pre-made.
know what's in it?
It's like lemon and vodka, and it's like a bit tangy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you-
I haven't been drinking for a while, but I think that might get me back
Yeah,
on
I
it.
think it sounds great.
That at the courtside bar would be a popular combination.
Absolutely.
You've been to the courtside bar? I think Court 8.
Yes, I was there very briefly last year, but without the lemonaces.
Yeah, I think it's going to be better with the lemonade.
Oh
as
man, you're gonna have to
Yeah.
carry me out of that bar. I'm gonna be stealing your joke. I'm gonna be going honestly, and then Eagers IGA. I'll probably get it wrong.
Well. But obviously the lemonades in combination with some hot chips because drink responsibly.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, you've kind of pinched mine. You've kind of pinched my taste.
Hot chips.
This is now.
Seagulls.
hot chips, I think, along that category. There's just something about sport in Melbourne and hot chips that are undivorceable, that are inseparable, that they just go together. And I've been working here. This is now my 17th straight Australian Open in a working capacity. Before that, I'd come in a fan capacity.
Yeah.
And I'd always end the session with a bucket of hot chips. It's a menu item that will never cease to please.
Yeah. I think you're 100%
I think you're right too, because I was torn between the Aperol Spritz and the chips.
But the topping,
But I thought you might do the chips anyway.
it's what you choose to put on top of. It's the condiment, the accoutrement.
What do you put on?
Well,
tomato sauce, don't you?
no, I'd do that at home.
Okay.
But I would ask for salt and vinegar if there is an option. I think that is a better flavour combination.
Yeah.
In a little bucket of hot chips. I'm going to say I just, like I said, had a sausage roll at Entrecote, and I think they were doing chips as well, or in that general area, but they were fans. They were like...
They do shoestring fries.
I'm sure I saw Parmesan fries as well somewhere down there. Like,
okay, yeah.
I don't know what that is.
It's chips with Parmesan.
Oh, it's just flavoured.
yeah, it's like...
It's like a grating of Parmesan.
Where did you grow up?
Geelong.
Right.
So that might explain.
No, and I grew up in the Sutherland Shire.
And I grew up in Newcastle, so none of us have excuses.
Oh my God, this is like bogan radio right now.
All from the region.
This is exactly why
like
we've
from
got
the different areas.
hot chips. But because as the
cogs were spinning, and
now as the more you talk, the more I think, God, if you and I were both teenagers at the same time, we would have been best mates.
Yeah.
And we would be here eating exactly the same stuff and watching TV.
salt and vinegar chips,
Yeah.
iced coffee,
Hot hamburgers.
hamburgers. Yeah, all that.
Hamburgers.
And when we were a little bit older, we'd get on the
Oh
cocktails.
yeah.
On the cocktail.
I don't know about you, but I reckon if all three of us were together and you were on the cocktails, we'd be totally intimidated by you.
Oh, good.
Be like, oh no, that's the hot chick drinking cocktails.
That's the one with the hair colour the same as the Melbourne sunset.
Yeah, I am like a sunset,
You are.
thank you.
Yeah, and then we'd try and talk to you about our voices would break. Be like, oh, are you enjoying the
Brie.
taste?
Well, I didn't think we'd end up down this avenue, but
love it.
I'd like to ask what you're most looking forward to about this Australian Open, the 2 weeks that you're going to be here.
This is such a terrible answer, but just all of it. Like it's such a great atmosphere, and I kind of feel like I'm on holidays at the moment. I'm down the coast with the family, and I came up today to do some bits and pieces.
Be the minister.
And be the minister, exactly. Do my ministerial duties. And I just want to come back here every single day for the rest of the tournament. And I know I can't because I have to go back to London and film, but just all of it, every little corner of this whole precinct is just exciting. It's just like a great, like I said, a party. So I can't narrow it down. Just the buzz is what I'm most looking forward to.
Yeah.
Brie, what gets you coming? I know, apart from your contract with Tennis
to.
Australia,
My,
what else keeps you coming through
needing
the
to
gates?
pay rent keeps me coming back all the time. I think it's similar. It's the vibe. It's, you especially at the moment, there's so much going on in the world. It's so nice to just have people come in and be happy and kind of take a weight off for however long they're able to be here. And sport's so good for you. And I love tennis. So I think that's what's nice. Watching people have fun and helping them have fun by working here and sharing it with them.
I like seeing my worlds come together, family and friends, for the only time of the year where they get to sort of share in what I do for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
And catching up with them, just for 5 minutes or so in
only
Garden
5.
Square or, with accreditation off and so forth. But it's good fun to have people get to experience what we spend, the other 48 weeks of the year making.
Yeah.
So it's fun.
There's a thing and you just said this, and I've had conversations about this as well with people, that sport is so much more than just sport.
It is.
It's not just the competition that's going out there on court. There are stories behind every single person that are here.
Yeah.
That's here, and even in qualifying, and probably more stories in qualifying.
Yeah.
That's why this week in particular, I think, is so exciting. That it's drama, it's soap opera, it's reality TV, it's all of that rolled into one.
Yeah.
And like, not everyone gets that when it comes to sport, I don't think. But when you're around people who do get it, then you feel like, okay.
Yep. It's an unspoken sort of wink and a nod.
Yeah. You get
you
it.
saw that. We were there together.
Yeah.
You remember that forever. Adam, it's been fantastic having you, the minister for everybody, here with us at Pod Laver Arena.
Oh, I've loved it. And look, how accessible this tournament is, and the extent to which they're making it accessible. No one else in the world is doing it like this, and the way that Tennis Australia as well has been pushing, the whole Minister for Everybody, and this, I'd love to say this was all my idea, but it's their idea, and I'm just totally running with it. But it's been absolutely superb. It's really progressive, and it's making everybody else around the world watch and lift their game. So it's a pleasure to be part of it.
Well, enjoy the tennis.
Thank you for having me.
Good to see you.
See you out there on court.